Netflix has officially renewed the animated spin-off Stranger Things Tales from 85 for season 2, just 5 days after the series premiered, despite the flagship live-action series ending in 2025. Netflix is clearly not ready to let Hawkins go. This matters because while the show is a hit on the global top 10 charts, it's currently the lowest rated project in the entire franchise history, sitting at a rotten audience score. Wow, not great. But here's my take on it. While it's great to see more of the Hawkins gang, the speed of the renewal feels like a desperate attempt to maintain the momentum for a show that fans felt shouldn't exist in the first place, especially given the voice cast changes. The biggest issue is the Nicky Baxter problem. The showrunners admitted that Nicky, as the new main character, technically doesn't fit into the established timeline since she's never mentioned in season 3 or beyond. The concern is that season 2 will have to work overtime to explain her absence, which usually leads to like cheap plot devices like memory wipes or tragic exits that feels forced. Now, in my opinion, as I pointed out in my previous video, I actually liked the character of Nicky. I actually thought she was one of the better things about season 1, but I also understand why fans are struggling to connect with her because they know she's destined to disappear from the canon, right? You know, she's not going to be mentioned again beyond this show. So it's kind of hard to kind of root for a character that you know that is suddenly going to vanish or disappear or, you know, have some sort of exit at some point in the narrative. So I can't blame them for that. And also, as we pointed out in our last video, the controversy over the recasting of the old cast is not going to go away in season 2. I mean, there's still going to be issues with that. Now, don't get me wrong, the voice actors' performances are serviceable as kind of the 1985 winter versions of these kids, but they still lack the specific chemistry of the live-action counterparts that made that show so great to begin with. And I think that's still going to be an issue heading into season 2. Now, who knows? Maybe the writing becomes stronger. Maybe the voice actors, you know, they grow into their roles and get more closer to the original, and who knows? We have to look out for that. But as of now, it's like that's still gonna be a massive issue. Now, when it comes to story, season 2 will move into the winter of 85. The showrunner teased a new paranormal threat emerging from Hawkins in the abandoned silver mines and a mysterious blue flower blooming in the Upside Down. The central theme seems to be the cost of friendship, likely setting up why this group never talks about the events during the live action season 3. I mean, hopefully they can make it work, but it seems like a lot to just explain away why they don't mention any of this in season 3. Honestly, it kind of feels like Star Wars, the Clone Wars of Stranger Things universe, filling in gaps between the many seasons, but without the critically acclaimed that obviously Clone Wars got. And again, I'm also hopeful that, you know, even though I like the visuals in season 1, my view is that hopefully they get to something a little bit more closer to season 2. You know, it was very vibrant, very kind of Saturday morning cartoon, but I definitely want them to bring some of the more darker elements that defined the show into it in terms of its visual look. You know, hopefully they take some of the criticism from season 1 and kind of apply that to season 2 in terms of, you know, making the visuals look a little bit more closer. I'm not saying it has to be a copy, but a little bit more closer to the original show in terms of, you know, the look and the color scheme and this and that. But who knows? Maybe that's too much from an animation standpoint. But as I said, Netflix is betting big on the brand name alone. Tales from 85, you know, has the visual polish, but it currently lacks the soul of the original series. Season 2 will need to stop being filler and start giving us stakes to actually make this feel somewhat canon, or it risks just being like a poor footnote in the franchise's overall legacy. But anyways, guys, what do you think? Is the second season actually going to fix these many problems and continuity issues, or is this just Netflix milking the franchise dry after the main show ended? Let me know in the comments. I want to hear you guys' thoughts on this. But until then, I'm T-Rex 3000, and I am out.